Thinking about who had it bad last year in Asia, Beijing comes first and foremost to mind because when we're talking about Asian lungs, Chinese lungs are having a difficult time. So when we singled out Beijing in our worst year in Asia 2015, it's because, when you're in Beijing, it is so polluted that you really can't even see Beijing these days. For the first time ever this winter, Beijing classified 2 red alert days. And so what does that mean day to day? It means that the authorities then can get cars off the streets, shut down factories, more power to them. Because I think the Chinese people deserve really cleaner air and certainly more healthy lungs. Again, it's a tough challenge balancing economic growth and keeping your environment pristine. But China needs to revisit where that balance is right now. Because if you ask day-to-day citizens in Beijing, in Chongqing, in the big cities of China, they may very well say that the balance is a little bit out of whack. China now must move to a rebalancing of its own economy. How can, let's say, 6 or 7% growth provide better and better lives for Chinese citizens, but do it in a way that they also benefit from a life that isn't just defined by economics, but also by cleaner air, cleaner water, and of course, I would hope, an ability for Chinese people just to get together and speak their minds. The recent climate change talks in France, China with other nations agreed to commit to keeping the world's temperature increase to 2 degrees centigrade. But how are we going to do that? Countries are going to have to look at what they're producing, what they're emitting, and China plays a big part in this, the challenge that the world faces. China also committed money to help other countries address this pollution issue, but the reality is that China makes a lot of pledges. The key will be, do these pledges turn into real action? And I think that's the real question that the world needs to pose, not just to China, but to every nation that signed on to the climate agreement in Paris. One of the most interesting developments in China continues to be the development of social media. In China, you really can't get Twitter, you can't get your Gmail account, you can't get Facebook, but the Chinese have come up with their own version. So for example, instead of Twitter, they have something called Weibo. And there really is a race between Chinese citizens speaking up and Chinese authorities trying to crack down on what their citizens are saying. This is the China of today, increasingly polluted, but also a nation where people are really restricted in what they can say about the pollution that they're facing day to day. This is not good for China. This is not good for the Chinese people. My hope is that China will move forward, allow its people to speak up, but more importantly, address the concerns that people have about their increasingly polluted airs and waters.